Hey everybody, it's Sean from Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we're doing a follow-up video. Our first video we were recommending espresso machines for former professional baristas, and now we're going to be recommending some grinders to go with those machines. Before we get started, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that way you can stay up to date on all cool coffee tips and tricks. I've been working as a barista for the last 9 years, and when I was building my home setup, I was looking for machines that could get me that consistent grind quality that I was familiar with, a workflow that would work with my morning routine, as well as just, flexibility to be creative with how I pull espresso. The 4 machines that we're going to be looking at today are the Eureka Specialita, the Oro Single Dose from Eureka, Fiorenzato's AllGrounds, as well as the Eureka Atom 75. This is the Eureka Mignon Specialita. One thing that I really enjoy about this grinder is we move up to a 55mm burr set. At this size, I start to see really good performance out of my espresso. It grinds consistently. Even when I'm going to medium to medium light roast, it performs really well. A couple features that I like in terms of how its workflow goes are its preset digital timers. So when you dial in your espresso, you can quickly adjust how long you want the grinder to run for, and it'll then grind really consistently time and time again, making the morning routine quick and convenient. One of the downsides I've noticed at this grinder, when we're moving towards finer grinding ranges, the espresso comes out particularly clumpy, so having something like a WDT so that way you can break up those clumps will make it work better for you. The next grinder we're going to be looking at is the Eureka Oro Single Dose. I will admit a personal bias on this one. This is the grinder that I use at home. Some key things that I really enjoy about this grinder, we go up to a 65mm burr set, so we are going to be grinding a little bit faster, and it works really well even with the lightest roasted coffees that I've tried. So if the coffee is really dense, this grinder has no problem breaking it up. This grinder is optimized for a single dose workflow, so while I'm not going to be working at a cafe pace, I have the ability to really meticulously measure my coffee and get the most out of my espresso experience. Things that are optimized for our workflow here, we have our bellow. It comes with the dosing cup and stand, keeping everything clean, organized, and just really nice. For grinder number 3, we have the AllGrounds from Fiorenzato. This is a pretty rare, high-quality grinder that can do both espresso and filter coffee. So if you are looking for a grinder that can do these really big switches from the super fine espresso range all the way out to your French press, this grinder will have you covered. The steps are super intuitive and make it easy to make those big jumps and adjustments. One of the downsides of this grinder of note is that while it single doses well for its filter coffee range, the espresso range relies on it being hopper fed. So if you enjoy switching coffee frequently, this grinder may not be the best fit if you enjoy single dosing, as it needs to have coffee in the hopper in order to dose properly. Overall, I find this grinder super resilient and fast and really fun to use when doing coffee experiments. The final grinder we're going to be looking at today is Eureka's Atom 75. This grinder uses a 75mm burr set and grinds incredibly fast. We can get a full dose of coffee in about 3 seconds, maybe just a little bit more, and then you are ready to go. A steady portafilter fork lets you work hands-free. This one feels most like a commercial grinder, but with some home optimizations. This grinder has lots of noise insulation, meaning it's not going to be as loud as one that you would see in a coffee shop. As a heads up, this is not a grinder that I recommend for beginners. Because it grinds so fast, dialing in would require more coffee waste than some of the slower grinding options. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, you want a grinder that works well with how you approach espresso. Do you like single dosing, or are you looking for something that's going to get you faster speeds and more flexibility? Let us know what resonates with you in our comments below. If you want to stay up to date with all things coffee gear, be sure to subscribe to our email newsletter. Thank you so much for watching, and keep making coffee you love.